The Garnet and Old Show, no inside info, no contacts, no problem. I'm Ryan.
And Ryan,
Oof.
no audio problems for me tonight.
I hope so, Vince. That's Vince. I'm Ryan. We are Garnet and Old, the fan-funded and fan-run show. And welcome, everyone. Listen, I said this to when I got to work today. It felt like a Friday all day today. It really feels like a Friday right now. Unfortunately, one more day of work. But listen, we're going to party tonight on the Garnet and Old Show like it is Friday because we got Doug Rohan coming up on the show here shortly. We got big Garnet and Old specific announcements coming tonight with much requested features and things that people have been asking us about, and even trying to email us and send us things about. And we're saying, hold off, it's coming. Tonight's the night we're going to announce some stuff. And hey, hop in the chat, everyone. Get involved. What do you got, Vince?
Hop in the chat, get involved. You should have, if you're here, you should have already hit the like. You should have already joined if you have not subscribed.
Yep.
And share it out on your social media. If do it, there's like a quick copy link there. Share it out. Let's get some more people in here, because once we've all got done with this goodness tonight, guess what's starting right now as well?
Florida State, Miami.
Florida State, Miami at Dick Hauser right now this evening. Hopefully Dick Hauser is not flooded after the crazy flooding that happened in Tally earlier today.
Absolutely. Now, Vince, one of our announcements about Garnet and Old tonight will actually kind of be able to be happening at the same time as the Miami-Florida State game. I'm not going to give anything away yet, but give anything away secrets yet. But Doug's coming up in a minute. But before we get started, we like to give about 5 minutes for everyone to trickle in before we bring Doug on, just so no one misses out who's streaming live. We thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. Vince, the people must know, will you be A, staying in Tallahassee for the spring game, and B, where are we at with Lost, my man? Are you still watching?
Okay, so the pressure mounted over the weeks and weeks and weeks, and the pressure has succeeded in cracking the diamond. We will be staying in Tallahassee on Saturday night after the spring game. So that means that we get to hang out more, Ryan. And hopefully, if any of the listeners, watchers, subscribers are going to be there as well, we'll be able to hang out with you as well.
Yeah, because wherever we end up, we're going to do pregame and postgame instant reactions, all that fun stuff, which, by the way, we're doing a little collab tailgate with Spear Addicts. So if you're not subscribed to Spear Addicts, go subscribe to them. I believe they're doing a show right after us tonight. But we're going to be doing a little tailgate action with them. We might collaborate a little bit on the pregame or postgame potentially. But then, Vince, wherever we end up after the spring game, because I'm hoping it'll be a patio type situation somewhere, we're gonna let all you guys know.
At your VRBO, we're all gonna come back to your place, and we're gonna trash that thing.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're gonna message out and tweet out where we're gonna be, and if you guys want to come hang out with us, have a few brewskis on a nice Saturday night celebrating a guaranteed Noles win.
Guaranteed win.
We'll be happy to have everyone. So Vince, second question: where are you at in Lost? Are you still watching?
I am still watching, and I after last week's show, I watched 3 or 4 more episodes at that point, and so I don't know if the people watching the show care or not, but I'm up to the point where Ethan's dead, and the pregnant girl doesn't remember how she got back.
Absolutely. Hey Vince, so in working with different people trying to make this show as best as possible, I do still hope. I know I actually had someone message me about it. Hey, where's the new logos, the new artwork, maybe new swag? We're working on it, guys. Be patient with us. I assume before the football season, for sure, we'll have new Garnet and Old merch and logos and stuff. So just please be patient with us.
Yeah, let me just say, and I'm going to out Ryan a little bit here on this one, because Ryan was so excited to announce this. I said, man, until we have it in hand, I don't know that I'd announce anything. So we're still waiting, but that's okay. The new rebranding of Garnet and Old is in the hopper. We're almost there.
Vince, what else we got? I know Doug's coming on any second now. Anything else you want to mention? Are you going to be watching the game tonight, I assume?
Yeah, as soon as we're done here, I'm gonna watch the game for sure. I've got a little score thing going here on the side, so I can keep track of it a little bit. But yeah, that's the next plan. And I'll probably, if Sporadics is having a show, I'll probably have that going on my phone while I'm watching the game on the TV.
One more thing I want to mention: the next goal, 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's where we're trying to get to. Help us get there by sharing it with your friends. And if we do make it to 2,000 subscribers before the release of EA Sports College Football 25, which should be, I'm going to guess, in July. We heard a rumor of July 11th. I don't know how correct that will be, but July 11th sounds about right based on previous times when the game has come out. If we reach 2,000 subscribers by that time, I'm going to give away an Xbox or PlayStation 5 with a copy of the game. So get on it.
That is Ryan coming to the table with the big guns. And who else came to the tunnel or to the game with the big guns?
Mr. Trauma Boy, welcome aboard. We're going to get into
this in a little bit.
You guys are seeing on your screen, the little green icon became a YouTube member. We're going to get into that after Doug. We're going to get through a few other things before we talk about that. But yes, Mr. Trauma Boy, honestly,
you're the first one in the door.
You're the first one, and we'll have exciting stuff for you and others later tonight. I promise that. So thank you so much for joining up. Vince, we had more info from the trial. I know Doug's going to be here momentarily, but
yeah,
what is your take? Where do we stand from a layman's term, right now?
From a layman's term, I wish I was there. I wish I was in the courtroom that day to watch that proceeding and to watch the judge, just exemplify what probably the rest of the world thinks a court proceeding in Florida is going to go like. It was fantastic. And I know, and Doug's going to talk more about this when he comes on the show. It's definitely a victory for Florida State, what happened, but we are nowhere near the finish line yet. So just like what happened in North Carolina a few weeks ago was not a victory for Florida State, but we're nowhere near the finish line there either. So we can be happy that what happened in Leon County on Tuesday happened. And by the way, we already have another date for the follow-up on April 22nd, I believe.
Absolutely.
So as a layman, and my only connection to the legal realm is Mr. Doug Rohan. I think it went swimmingly.
Yes, from an outside perspective, and unfortunately, I used to be a work from home guy, but in my new position that I've had for about 6 months, fully on site, and I work in IT, everyone, as a manager of a 12-person service desk. So what that means for me is that it's pretty much all go all the time. The days of maybe having a second to have the Twitter feed up on the side, getting updates throughout the court case are gone. Vince was keeping me apprised of the situation while it was happening with text messages. But guess what? Vince, as much as I love you and as much as I think you're a smart guy, I don't think you're the expert on this. So I think it's time, Vince.
It is. I'm not the expert, but I know who is.
That's how you keep me coming back.
He is the expert. He's the expert, not just for Garnet and Old. He's the expert on a lot of shows, a lot of podcasts, a lot of streams. And I think, how many beers do you have counted right now that people are going to buy you when we go across the pond?
I believe I'm up to 5 so far. Remember, Yahoo does take, or YouTube does take a percentage of those donations, but yes, through a couple different pods that we have been soliciting donations for, and thank you chats or whatever they're called. I have been promised some beers, some Guinnesses, fresh from the pubs in Ireland.
Vince, were you one of those people to promise them that? Because you will be in Ireland.
Yeah, well, definitely, that's a definite. And it may be more than a beer. Doug and I and the
here we go.
And the Doug and I and the entourage maybe joining maybe doing a meal together.
A full-on meal, breaking bread, wearing clown noses. We've got all kinds of plans.
We do. I'm insanely jealous.
Let me get rid of this banner. We'll put that back up later. Oh, and look, you've changed. You're no longer just the FSU homer.
Yep.
You are a Section B animal because, as we all know,
card-carrying member since '93. I know the words to "Oh Canada." Somebody called me out. Thought I was a pretender. Absolutely not.
No.
I've done my time in the right field, first baseline.
And the only time you would give up those seats is if someone offered you some nicer seats, maybe in a nicer area of the stadium.
With free Oyster City. How many sponsors do we need to mention today?
Oh, man. We need at least one. Yeah. We need at least one.
That was a very generous and pleasant experience. Thank you to the Seminole Boosters. And I no doubt in relation to the publicity that you all have helped generate for me. So that was a lot of fun to be invited to come sit, behind home plate for that second Louisville game on Easter weekend.
Well, do you want to get legal or do you want to talk more baseball? Because
I am very upset with you all because I had to turn off my feed and come on here because somebody decided to have a show at Thursday at 7 p.m. when they are playing the University of Miami.
Yes. I'm sorry about that. So let's get the legal stuff then, so we can get you out the door
because we want to watch too,
and back to the love of your life, other than your family.
Correct.
Other than your family. All right. So Doug, set the table for us. What happened this week?
So on Tuesday we had a hearing in Leon County, Florida, on the ACC motion to stay the proceedings. Stay sounds like sit here and sit still. It's kind of like that. They wanted to pause all of the proceedings in Florida while we attended to the case in North Carolina. Judge Jacobs is our double Nole judge sitting in for us, undergrad and law school. And we expected that we would get home cooking, as did the ACC, which is why they rushed out to file a North Carolina lawsuit the day before we filed ours. So the judge only had the opportunity to address the stay. There are 2 other matters pending still, and that is the motion to dismiss, which we've already talked about is a very high standard, and then the motion to stay discovery. They don't want to do their homework assignments, even though the test is coming up. So that's where we are. That's going to be rescheduled or continued to mark April 22nd. So we will have another conversation that Thursday night about what happened Monday, April 22nd. But for right now, it was an anticipated victory for Florida State, where Judge Cooper said, no, this is a Florida case and it needs to stay in Florida.
Were you shocked at the beginning of that proceeding when he basically indicated that his intent was to make a decision that day?
I don't think shocked is the correct word. Surprised, maybe, just to dial it back a little bit, because these are very serious and very significant procedural decisions that are being made. Again, we're still fighting over where we're going to hold the coin toss. We haven't even gotten to the coin toss yet. So we're fighting over which courthouse is going to be the home for this fight. And it's not uncommon for judges to rule for the bench. It's particularly not uncommon for judges to rule from the bench when they already know how they're going to rule. However, the judge was very urgent in stating that he did not come into this with any preconceived notions. He did not decide. He did not have his mind made up before the start of the hearing. Sometimes judges say things that are to make the opposing side feel better and not necessarily factually accurate.
Yep. Ryan, you got something? Because I've been talking
Absolutely.
a lot.
We have a question from Genetics56, who is a frequent listener of the Garnet and Old Show.
Mhm.
Doug, due to all the complexity of this lawsuit, how long do you think mediation will take? Well, let's say could. I'm going to say could
Goodness.
for him,
Mhm.
if successful at all.
That's an excellent question that has a lot to do with the personalities of the three parties involved in a mediation. So you have FSU, the ACC, and the mediator. And just like judges have their own style, mediators have their own style. I have been to mediations where it started at 9 o'clock, and by 9:15, we were kind of getting serious. By 9:30, we kind of knew where the lines were in the sand. By 9:45, we knew that nothing was going to happen today, and we called it off. I've had other mediations where it's scheduled to start at 9, doesn't actually start till 10. We spend the first 30 minutes deciding what we're going to have for lunch, because the mediators often provide lunch, and it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon before we've actually started exchanging numbers. So it can vary, just like the court proceedings. We've seen, if you saw the videos, we've seen two very different court proceedings. North Carolina and Judge Bledsoe was very regimented, was very on time, was organized, precise. Thankfully, with a 4-hour drive back to Atlanta, we were done by 1 o'clock. Judge Cooper was like, well, I'll schedule you for an hour and a half, but I've got all day. And sure enough, he took all day. It was funny listening to Irish O'Fell talk about how he's like, I got a baseball game to get to. Let's hurry it up. So yeah, you have different styles. The ultimate answer to that question, what's a realistic time frame? I don't even know if they're talking about mediation dates. We're going to get through the April 22nd hearing first. We're then going to have an appeal of the ACC losing the Florida decision. So both of those are going to go up to the Court of Appeal. I suspect those are going to be set down for hearings maybe in June, depending on how quickly those calendars proceed. Probably they have their first mediation before that date. Then they'll have they won't reach an agreement, but they'll have a second mediation after those dates. And again, I'm sticking with my perspective that I think they want to have a decision, a solution to this. Whether or not it's resolved, I think the announcement of the resolution will come between August 16th and August 23rd. I think they want to squeeze this between the August 15th deadline to announce a departure this year, meaning they play the 2024 season and they're out. I think the ACC wants a 2025 season from FSU, and then before the kickoff in Ireland for the first game of the year.
I will agree to that. If you've got me in the room with the mediator, I'm all on board for that. Mm-hmm. So let's get that done. Let's just figure out what the dollar amount is, and it can't be over 200 million.
Agreed.
So talking about the differences in the style between Judge Cooper and Judge Bledsoe, you've probably seen this before. I'm sure you have. He came with binders and binders of stuff, with notepads and stickies all over the place, and because he did all of his own work. Can you explain that to the people, how the differences between what happened in Charlotte and what happened here?
Sure. I don't think it's too different. I just don't think we had as much visibility into what Judge Bledsoe was doing behind the bench in North Carolina. But you'll recall we spent 4 or 5 shows going over the pleadings that both parties filed, including all of their case law. That is their legal written argument to the judge. The judge then takes all that information. Fortunately, he's got a clerk or two that does the research and starts dissecting the information first that's being provided to him, but then also goes and explores some of his own thoughts. And in this particular case, it was very interesting because Judge Cooper admitted that he recently had a patent law case come through his office. And as a result, he had to purchase a treatise on some specific patent law issues. And in reading through that information, some things stuck out to him that were related to this litigation. So as he's rambling without a better term to describe it,
not a lot of punctuation,
through his decision from the bench, he's pulling a lot of information from these patent law cases that are only tangentially related to what we're talking about here. Yes, we are talking about intellectual property rights. We've got a football game being played and being broadcast on media. So it's not completely irrelevant, but in terms of contract law, it's very unusual to be pulling from decisions of patent federal law to substantiate your decision-making process.
Oh, I have my own question. This is more of the fan in me coming out.
Mm-hmm.
You were going back and forth with a certain fellow man of the law on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me some of his points and why they're kind of silly. I know that you had disproved
Mm-hmm.
them in length, and you guys can go to Doug's Twitter profile and see his replies and everything. But what was the main criticism of the arguments that you laid out from other people, and why that may be a misconstruing of the facts?
We have a danger in this fight of being our homers for our parties, and wearing the FSU Garnet and Gold. I'm aware of my biases. I'm aware that I'm leaning towards arguments that are in favor of Florida State. There is such a thing in sociology called confirmation bias. Confirmation bias can be destructive, particularly to a trained expert, a trained individual like an attorney that's programmed, that's designed, that's practiced in the art of taking both sides to any situation. You need to be comfortable with listening to both sides and having an open mind about what the ultimate conclusion will be. I personally think I have a high self-esteem and good ego. I think I'd be an amazing judge. I think I'd do a great job of listening to both sides of a story and saying, no, I think this is the right way, or I think that's the right way. Some people cannot grasp that truth. Some people cannot grasp that exercise or that skill. And perhaps this individual is cut from that cloth. He's very pro ACC. He has said some stuff that I find to be factually inaccurate. I did call him out briefly. In general, I have not engaged with him directly. In general, I have been respectful. I even liked some of his tweets and retweeted some of his tweets. He makes good points. That's why I think I'm capable of saying, yeah, even though he's not in my camp, there are occasions where he makes good points. And so when he stretched the truth a little bit too much, that's when I just had to jump in and call a spade a spade.
Yeah, obviously there's too much stretching of the truth going on social media in general. So we appreciate you doing the yeoman's work to wrangle people back in when they decide to take it a little too far.
And let me say, I don't claim to be solely responsible. There have been Danielle Kelly and Chanta Combs and a couple other attorneys that have been on here. I have been exceedingly proud of the dialogue I have seen from Florida State fans. We still want FSU to win. We still want FSU out of the ACC, but 98% of what I see on Twitter, primarily from FSU fans, is taking information that we have shared or that they've seen or that's factually accurate from other parties. And I've just been so proud that in an era where everybody is spouting off all kinds of nonsense and reads something here and says something there, and it's not related to reality at all, this has been a very good exercise in education and dialogue, and I'm glad to play a small part of that.
That's where the flashcards came from, right? Mm-hmm. So these are the flashcards, and we're going to keep adding to these as new terms come up. And I was on a show with you last night where the de novo thing came up. Mm-hmm. So I added that here, de novo from the beginning. Could you talk about that real quick?
So I have been saying repeatedly, I'm not telling you where the bus is going. I'm not driving the bus. I'm just telling you where the bus has been. This is not my practice area. I am oftentimes getting a refresher course on my first and second year of law school studies as we go through this. So I do have a fundamental understanding of the terms. I do understand contract law, but I'm dealing primarily with accidents, injuries, and criminal defense. So as we approach the appellate court situation, we're going to start educating your viewers on some appellate court issues. And one of those things to address is, what does the appellate court do? Okay, I've appealed the decision. What does that mean? Nobody in the news explains what appealing a case to the Court of Appeals does. So what you are doing is saying, I disagree with the trial court's finding. Florida State has disagreed with Judge Bledsoe in North Carolina and has petitioned for this case to go up to the Court of Appeals. The petition is just the first step. The next step is they will need to submit a brief where they research the issues and submit to the Court of Appeals specific legal issues that they believe the judge got wrong. So what does it mean that the Court of Appeals is looking at this? There are two types of reviews, and one is the version you mentioned here, which is de novo. That means that the Court of Appeals, for whatever reason, under certain circumstances, gets to basically start over. They look at all the evidence fresh. They look at everything new. They're building the case again from the ground up. Something went so catastrophically wrong below that they've got to say, as Lego super builders, let's unstick all the Legos and start over and start building this back together. That's very unusual. That's not typically what we're doing. What's more common is that they certify a particular question. Did the judge get the law wrong on this point? Did the judge misinterpret the case law on that point? That's the type of Court of Appeals decision we'll be looking at. And when that happens, the Court of Appeals will issue their order, either affirming the decision below or overturning the decision below and then sending it back down to Judge Bledsoe to reissue an order with this new piece of information that they've provided.
Got it. Thank you. That makes total sense. I appreciate it. And somebody put in the chat in there, do we need to fire up Latin on Duolingo before the next proceeding?
I'm trying to avoid that. I did not like Latin a whole lot. We did talk about that in one of TJ's first podcast, Inclusio Unis est exclusio alterius.
Okay, you're going to have to text that to me.
If you put together a list of similar items, then you're describing in a contract what you're talking about. You can't put in a contract every possible conceivable situation.
Sure.
But if I'm going to go to the grocery store and I'm going to ask my wife to buy baking soda, baking powder, sugar, flour, and pie tins, I can't get mad at her when she doesn't buy sardines. I have made a list of things that should be reflective of me baking a pie. So you might want to buy a filling for that pie. I didn't mention it, but perhaps some Comstock cherry filling would be a good idea.
Could be.
But if she shows up at home and doesn't have sardines, that's not like all the other items that I have included in that list.
Ooh, this is a good question. I don't know if you know the answer to this. Karen Smith writes, what is going on with the Florida Attorney General's lawsuit with the CFP committee? I know that's a little separate, but do you know anything about that? Have you heard anything?
I have not heard anything about that. That's the first time that's been brought back to my recollection since about 6 weeks ago when we were in North Carolina and she was again complaining about not getting her full disclosure.
No new information on that.
Aside from court stuff, I want to break away. What's your prediction for the baseball game tonight, Florida State Miami? I need a prediction.
Florida State has incredible starting pitching, but they don't have a bullpen, and they're in even worse case than we are. Jamie Arnold is number 1 in the nation right now with ERA. I think it's with 20 innings pitched. That's shocking to me. A sub-1 ERA from a Florida State pitcher in conference play is incredible. So Miami has no chance tonight. 7-5, 7-3, 7-1. I don't know what's going to happen. Friday night, I hope we get Chiefs back out there. I haven't heard from David Plack any announcement, but if we can get the same environment Friday night that we had Tuesday night, we could score 20 runs. I mean, it's just unbelievable what this offense can do. And with 2 of our starting pitchers out and our bullpen kind of banged up, we will need to score 20 runs. So maybe 20-17, 20-13, but yeah, I think we can handle Miami. It's just a matter of managing and getting to their bullpen.
That lineup is potent from beginning to end.
It's like the Braves. I get to cheer for the Braves and Florida State. It's like, it's not fair.
It is crazy. It is crazy.
And you get to do the war chant for both.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do they call it the war chant with the Braves?
Oh yeah.
I think they call it okay. I thought they called it
the chop.
Hey,
Yeah.
you have to answer me this. I don't know. I've
Mhm.
always wondered this myself. You a fan of Mel Brooks movies, Anthony,
Of
Doug?
course. Of course.
So, Robin Hood Men in Tights, when he says, let's give him the chop, is he referencing the Atlanta Braves or Florida State?
Huh, I
When
haven't
they all
thought
do the
about
war
that.
chant. That's
Probably
interesting, right?
probably the Braves.
Yeah.
Sadly, more people pay attention to the Braves than the Seminoles, especially for early 90s, late 80s Mel Brooks movies.
Right. Right.
We have one more question from an audience member.
I hope there's more questions than one.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I also don't want to. I want to be mindful of your game time as well. So, one of our regulars here, MN Seminoles, right? Doug, have you seen
He won.
the
MN
extra?
Seminoles won.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. From CW Lambert claiming the ESPN is negotiating a settlement between ACC, FSU, and Clemson. Now, I also saw this rumor, Doug. I don't know for a fact how solid that is, so I'm not going to say it's gospel yet. But do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I had about a dozen people tag me into this conversation. I did try to respond as often as possible, and I did write a lengthy response after the first time that I was tagged in. My conclusion on his reporting is I can't call BS on anything that he is saying. It is reasonable. It is consistent with the information I have. And with the exception of me hating ESPN and the SEC, it is a plausible solution. Now, what I described in my Twitter response is this is option 1B. 1A is we win our case, we negotiate under 150 million, we're in the Big Ten. I think that's what Michael Alford wants. I think that's what President McCullough wants. They came here to raise the standard for the academics at Florida State while also embracing quality sports. And that's a very narrow path to navigate. And I think we have the right team in place.
Mm-hmm.
With respect to the ESPN SEC deal, it's the practical solution. It's the fastest solution. It's the most pragmatic solution. And truthfully, in litigation, pragmatic is not a bad way to go. So it is plausible. And like I said, I have a very strong BS meter. I can call BS, from a mile away. I was going to say something, but my filter went up. We're not going to get political. The bottom line is I can't say that he's wrong. There's nothing that he said that is definitively and objectively incorrect. Whether that happens or not is a different story, but I can't poke any holes in the reasonableness of his tweet diatribe.
My take on it was, of course, ESPN would be trying to, take care of this in a different way, and even if it's for nothing and it's not going to happen, I feel like it would be negligent for them not to try.
Mm-hmm.
Was there any another friend of the show, Moen, had mentioned something in that thread there about there may be some legal issues with restraint of trade and all of that because ESPN's the puppet master for all of it.
Well,
what do you think about that?
The big concern is Fox being upset that they miss out on the Florida State property. I don't know on a scale from 1 to 10 how much Fox desires Florida State. I know they desire us. I know they would take us. I have no doubt that we have a landing place in either of those jurisdictions, of those conferences. I don't know how hard Fox would want to go to the mat over that issue. Some people have said Florida State is the linchpin to them going national. Florida State is the key to the SEC being the dominant brand, and Fox is interested in stopping that. If both of those or either of those are true, then there will be litigation for tortious interference, for ESPN overstepping its bounds. If Fox isn't particularly interested, if Fox is happy with where they are and are like, yeah, we'll take FSU, or we won't take FSU, then they shouldn't be that pissed off, and will probably be happy to let sleeping dogs lie, and we'll just go to the SEC with Clemson, and everybody will stay happy because we stay an SEC, an ESPN product.
Yeah, 1B. I'd agree with you on 1B. It's going to have I'm going to have a hard time coming back around to that.
Florida State is not going to say no if that door is open.
I understand. And if that is the door.
Yeah.
If that is the door. Ryan, you want to put the comment up there from Chris?
Yeah.
Because this, yeah.
Chris from Spear Addicts. I think it's a possible path, but no conversation has been had between FSU, ESPN, and ACC.
Official conversation.
Public conversation.
Yeah.
I will tell you, all of these parties are talking. All of these parties have been talking. They've probably been talking for more than a year. They just all think they have a stronger position than they actually do. And all three could very possibly be wrong.
Right.
Something comes up in my workers' comp cases, very common, which is the adjuster is going to pay what the case is worth. Not what the case is going to be worth, not what the case should be worth at some point. I have to do the work. I have to schedule the doctor's appointments. I have to get the opinions. I have to take the depositions. I have to work up the value of the case to get an offer from the insurance company. Even though I've been doing it for 20 years and they've seen me do it on 1,000 other cases before, they're going to wait until the case is worth the value that it is before they offer something. Sure. Here you have three parties that all think their position is strongest. Florida State thinks the grant of rights is invalid. They think that they have a way to argue breach. They think that the exit fee is usurious and is excessive. ACC thinks that they're going to win it all, that ESPN is going to sign an extension, and this is worth north of $542 million. Yep. ESPN thinks their poo doesn't stink and that they're going to get out of this just fine, and everybody's going to remember that ESPN is the king of college football. Until all three parties change their perspective, we're not going to have a solution to this case.
I do have a quick update for you boys. Oh, nope. Wrong one.
Not that one. Oh, you almost gave it away there. Right?
Oh, hold on a second. Well, I'll just say it. Florida State 1-0.
1-0. There you go. That's quick.
Bottom of the third.
Okay.
Bottom of the third. I was going to say it's probably about the third inning by now. So excellent. Let's see. Trying to remember from Tuesday. This is what I was going to ask you about. So the judge pulls up the ACC lawyers and says, let's just have a fireside chat for a little while. And we'll be here for an hour and a half, but it's okay. I've got all day either way. But it's not until lunchtime that, we haven't even heard from the Florida State side at all. Tell me, I know you have your thoughts on that and how that could possibly help the Florida State side. Can you talk about that?
If Judge Bledsoe in North Carolina had operated and moved the case along the way Judge Cooper did, FSU Twitter, including myself from the courtroom front row bench, would have lost their minds. Judge Cooper is very pro FSU and is not hiding it in any respect. It's not improper. It's not illegal. It's not appealable. It's not an issue for anybody to take to the Florida bar. But to have one party have their entire period of argument, break an hour for lunch to give the Florida State attorneys time to collect their thoughts, to reevaluate some of their arguments, to brainstorm. Look, when one party stops and the other party starts and you have to get up, you've got four more lawyers behind you. We've all researched all these issues. We've all researched all these cases. You can write a note and pass it. That happened in North Carolina all the time. But you get a conference room for an hour while you're munching on your sandwich to talk about what just happened from the ACC lawyers so that you get to share and collaborate to come up with the best argument for the afternoon. That's a little bit of home cooking there on the part of Judge Cooper. So again, we're happy. It's our side.
I support it.
Intellectually honest version of Doug Rohan is if the shoe was on the other side, if it was happening the other way, it would not be a pleasant experience.
Whereas in the North Carolina case, I mean, even though there were some points here and there for both sides, it definitely didn't feel like home cooking as much.
Correct. Yeah. And again, this goes back to the ultimate outcome was pretty much predetermined in both cases, but you still had a contrast in styles. If I had to be in front of Judge Bledsoe for a merged case with Clemson, all three suits, all two suits, both suits being heard at the same time, I would at least have confidence that Judge Bledsoe would be measured in his evaluation. He may still be biased, but at least he'd be measured.
Yeah.
If I was the ACC, I would be looking at Judge Cooper and going, this is why we were forum shopping. This is why we were filing suit.
That's great.
Almighty Finn writes, as long as Judge Cooper is on FSU side, he's an honorable man.
Yep.
Indeed. Well, I think we've hit most of the points, Doug, and it looks like I'm hearing bases are loaded for FSU, and we're up 1-0. So we're going to let you go ahead and get out of here and get watching the game. However, I hope you are just excited as we are. I think you have some inclination about some of the stuff we're announcing tonight, but we'll shout out more to you later. Really, really excited to have you on the show as always. People love you, man. Our fans, they love some Doug Rohan. And tell the people where they can find you.
So obviously I'm most active on Twitter. Follow me at Rohan Law PC for some keen insight on the litigation from the FSU version. But if you're in real life in need of an attorney, we're in Atlanta, Georgia. We handle all of Georgia for any type of work accident. Arrests are more centrally located towards the metro Atlanta area, but we want to be your best friend on your worst day. We know if you need me, that you're going through some stuff and you don't know who to turn to or where to begin. We've been doing this for 20 years. I've had my own firm for the last 10 years. And as a Nole, I'd love to come alongside you and help you through that process. So please, I hope you don't need me. I don't want you to need me, but at some point you are going to have a friend or family member that's going to get into some trouble in Atlanta or is going to get hurt at work or hurt in a car accident in Georgia. And I hope that you are following me on Twitter and think of me when that comes up so that you can send them our way.
Great work.
4-0 now.
4-0.
Sorry,
and
3-0.
Doug,
Sorry, 3.
I have one last question for you before I play you out. And that is, are you going to the spring game? Did we already talk about this?
We did not talk about it. I'm not going. We did have several requests. I've got a commitment in Denver, so I will be in Denver, but I should be finishing about the time that the spring game gets fired up, so I hope to catch it on TV. And I know you all will have great fun without me. I will be in Ireland. I will be in Tallahassee for Memphis. So I'd love to say hi and catch up with you all in person and meet some of our fantastic and loyal listeners.
Thanks, Doug. Enjoy the game. We'll see you next week.
See you, Doug. Man, Doug's still here.
There he is.
Let me get rid of.
I gotta go.
Go Noles, Doug. Go Noles, man.
We'll see you.
There we go. Hey,
I didn't want to boot him. I figured he'd boot himself.
That's all right. Doug Rohan, everyone. But guess what? We got a lot more coming up on the Garnet and Old Show.
Fantastic. That was fantastic.
We got some big news for everyone.
We do. Let's get right to the big news. Let's start with Garnet and Old memberships, which was spoiled a little bit earlier today, but spoiled for all the right reasons, because someone saw the join button on YouTube and joined. And so our first member, Trauma Boy, is that who it was?
Yeah, Trauma Boy.
Yeah. So we already have a member. So Ryan, why don't you talk to everyone and let everybody know what this is all about?
Absolutely. So as all of you know, we hit the 1,000 mark a few weeks ago on YouTube, and we told you that we're going to be making major investments. We talked earlier about we're going to be having a rebrand, graphics, maybe some audio stuff, but we're also going to be investing in the fan community and getting everyone more connected to Vince, to myself, to Garnet as a whole. So we are tonight announcing really two things, but we'll start off with the first, which is Garnet and Old memberships through YouTube. Now, everyone who watches on YouTube, you'll now see a join button at the top of our channel. We have 3 levels of membership levels. Now, $2.99 a month. It's just a month, not a week or anything like that. It gets you members only, live chats, priority replies, online comments on the channel when we have our shows, and members only area in the Discord. Which that's the second part of the announcement.
That's the second
coming
thing.
in a second. If you want a little bit of extra, you want a little bit more of Vince and Ryan and the Garnet and Old Show,
And who doesn't?
we are going to be adding, at minimum, 1 extra live show every single week.
To start with. Yeah.
To start with. That live show will only be available to Warrior and the Chief level that we're going to talk about in a second. So you're going to have an extra live show every single week. Now, for members that don't want to pay, that's fine. Or the $2.99 members, that's fine. After a few days, we'll post that same video up on the normal feed. You guys have probably subscribed to things before and become members of other channels. We're going to post that later, but we're going to do an extra show every week. The Thursday Garnet and Old Show, nothing's changing. Free for everyone. It will always be free. We're not changing anything with the Thursday 7 o'clock Garnet and Old Show. We're going to do photo and status updates, give you a little insight into what's going on in our lives, what's going on with our channel, members only videos and live streams. We are going to do special events for you guys. We're going to announce that later on, closer to the football season. But then if you really, really are all in, hey man, you bleed Garnet and Old, right?
You are the Garnet and Oldest.
You get connections, one-on-one connections on social channels of your choosing with Vince and I, any ones that we're already on. And a lot of you know that allows you to like DM and stuff like that. We will shout out every single $9.99 member on every single show. We will shout you out as sort of like a producer. You're helping us fund the show.
Mm-hmm.
And you will be able to submit your questions on video and comments on video, and we will actually feature them on the Garnet and Old Show. Just allowing you to collaborate. And in those videos, if you want to pimp out one of your own channels or your own thing you got going on, boom, you got it. Free publicity. So we got a lot of stuff going on there. And part of that, Vince, is a Discord channel. Now, Vince was new to Discord.
New in terms of like, I've never set one up. Yes.
Now, myself, Vince is the old part of Garnet and Old. Myself, and I think a lot of the gaming community is more aware of Discord and Twitch and things like that. But Discord is essentially a community chat environment for you to talk different things. Think of, instead of a message board where you have to go, log in and kind of craft a post and post, it's a chat room in a message board format. So we are going to post right now in all our channels, and we'll post on our other feeds a link. This link is to our link tree that has all of our links to all of our stuff Garnet and Old related. In that will be a direct link to the member join as a member YouTube link and the Discord channel. So everyone, free members, no matter the tier, you don't have to pay money, has access to the Discord right now. It's live right now. You guys can join the Discord right now. So please do that. Join our Discord channel. It's called Garnet and Old. You can search for it on Discord as well if you don't want to click the link. We're also going to have a members only area that's available only to subscribing members for us to talk to you guys, more directly, one-on-one, get questions on the show, that fun stuff. Vince, how are you feeling, my friend? This is exciting.
I'm excited about it. I mean, do you want to put the QR code up in case people just want to use their phone?
Absolutely.
Want to remove the banner? Yep. And so if you're already going into the Discord server there, we've already posted a few shots in there in some of the channels. So, but that's kind of the idea, is that we all don't have to wait for the Thursday night show to interact. That's what the Discord is going to be for. Just dream with me here for a moment. It's a game night. It's an away game. And I'm in the Discord server, and Ryan's in the Discord server on the game channel. And you all are too. And we can all make fun of the refs, together. We can all, bash the rivals together, and we just have a good time, just as if we were all together at the game. And maybe at some point we'll all have Vision Pros, and then we can all see each other in the holograms. But Discord will get us at least part of the way there.
And for those of you who are watching right now on YouTube, I do want to, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because I want to show you how to actually subscribe if you're looking at our channel right now. Vince, let's see, bring it up. There you go. All right. If you're on our landing page, the Garnet and Old YouTube channel, right here, you click join. Here's all of our categories. You can pick which category you want and go ahead and join as a member of the Garnet and Old Show. You should already be subscribed. If you're going to join, you better be subscribed already, because that wouldn't make any sense if you weren't. But go ahead, join us, become a part of our family. We are going to have member-only events, chats, streams, all kinds of stuff. We wanted to get closer to our members because right now, as it's currently been set up, Vince, really it's been when we're streaming live, we can chat with you guys in the YouTube comments, which is generally we're only going back and forth with you guys during the hour show, or it's been on X, which we all know X can be kind of wild and kind of unkempt. The Discord channel, guys, it'll give you access to talk to us directly all the time in a more chat one-on-one segment. So all the people who are regulars, please join. Head over to Discord, join, chat with us tonight while we're watching the Miami and Florida State game. But we are so excited to get more of a community vibe and get more relationships formed. Now, Vince, we have a surprise for some people.
We do. In order to kind of kick this thing off and really get the ball rolling here, we're going to give away some memberships right now. And let's just go ahead and do that. We're going to gift 5 memberships right now. And the deal with this is it'll give you a month, right? And if you decide to keep going because you love it, then you do. But we're going to gift 5 of them right now. And I think what you have to do is you'll see them up there in the chat for 5. And there you go. People already know how to do this.
Yeah, you'll see this in the YouTube chat right now. And the first come, first serve on those. So, oh, look at that. Doug Rohan.
The man puts his money where his mouth is. So how about
pro
that?
bono for Doug. First month. That's what we're doing for him.
Fantastic. So we see here, Nick Snyder was gifted a membership. Almighty Finn, Morris Simmons, Preston from Greensboro, and J-Dub. So those five memberships are out there. And I believe those memberships come in at the warrior level, I believe.
Yes. Now, after this show, guys, I will make sure when we get on a list of who's already joined, we'll make sure to let you guys know. I know we've just explained it, but where to find things, Discord, and all that fun stuff. We'll be in contact. But head over. I'm going to post the link one more time in chat to our link tree. That will get you all our links. How to become a member, how to join Discord, all our channels, our podcast feed. A lot of people don't realize, Vince, underrated part of the Garnet and Old Show. We do YouTube, but we have actually started a long time ago, before we ever did YouTube, as a podcast only show originally. And you can still find us on all podcast services. We're still there. It's like being on the AM radio dial nowadays, but we're still there. And more to come. But hey, head on over to Linktree, join the Discord. The chat is open right now. The Discord is open as we speak. So head on over, start chatting with us. We hope to hear from you real soon.
Yeah, you don't want to be Will Smith in the Discord channel looking around wondering where everybody is.
Yeah.
So, go find Will Smith and talk to him and have a good time in there. So that's that Ryan, that's awesome. We got the memberships going. We got the Discord going. We've got the spring game coming up. There's more information coming about that, and we will be posting a lot of that information in the Discord. So you'll be hearing a lot about that as far as the particulars with that. And there's just a lot going on with the community right now. So thank you.
I just want to shout out Vince right now as we're talking in the Discord channel. I see J Dub is typing a message. Could J
Yeah, I see
Dub be
him.
the first poster on the Discord channel aside from Vince and I? I hope
Well,
so.
yeah, he's under the general channel right now, and he is actually. I went ahead and posted a behind the scenes shot of my setup prior to the show tonight, just to get the ball rolling in the community.
Absolutely. But we're not done on the Garnet and Old Show, Vince. I think at the end of the show, we should give away 5 more.
I don't know if we can do that. I think maybe we can only do 5 at a time, but I will look.
Okay, perfect. All right, Vince. We got a few more Florida State items, so we're going to won't take too long because I think one of our friends of the show is doing his stream shortly. But let's bang through some of these news items that we got going on.
Yeah, so I just want to do a quick scoreboard update over the past week. Baseball, softball, men and women's tennis, and beach volleyball. I'm not going to read all these to you, but I'll just suffice it to say there's a whole lot of winning going on with the Noles. And one of the standouts here is that absolute drubbing of the Gators, a 19-4 score, was the second time we run ruled the Gators this season, and we swept them, which I think is the first time since maybe 2000 or something. It's been a long time. So there's a lot of winning going on with the team. So we're just kind of move through this stuff pretty quickly. Ryan, you want to talk briefly about spring updates?
Yeah, one thing I want to cover. Listen, I was sad about hearing. I know a lot of you probably already heard, but Greedy Vance has chosen, or he has not done it yet, but he intends to enter the transfer portal. Now, I myself am a big Greedy Vance fan. I like Greedy Vance.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, it's a great name for a DB.
Absolutely.
I mean, Greedy, you can't get much better. However, it might be for reasons that he, may have been falling. I don't know that to be the case on the depth chart, but we have a ton of DB talent on this roster. So if there's any one position where, if he does end up transferring, and we've seen other players enter and then not end up transferring, if he does end up leaving, I'll say congratulations and wish him the best of luck. But we do have a lot of talent in the DB room. Like we're not worried at all. If this was a linebacker or a big D lineman, we'd be maybe in a little panic mode right now. But DB, I'd wish him the best of luck.
I've got, I mean, he's the type of player that he got better and better over time, right? And he did all that he could do while he was a Nole. I'm not going to do anything but wish him the best wherever he goes. So good luck to him. But we are stacked in that room, and this is a good thing. This is a good thing. I just got a text from Doug saying Brock Glenn is limited due to non-football injury.
Yep.
So that I wasn't aware of. So
yeah, it's interesting. Hey, that gives more reps for Luke.
Yeah, for sure. And then some other quick items as far as the football team is concerned. A number of players of note from other schools are going into the transfer portal, one of which is Nigel Kelly, who chose Miami over Florida State a couple of years ago. He's going into the portal. Jason Zendamella, who's an offensive lineman, is going into the transfer portal. He was at one point heavy lean. He might have been committed to Florida State at one point. Decided to go to USC, but he's going into the portal. He's an offensive lineman. And then there's another offensive lineman from Arkansas that's going into the portal as well. So there's just some names to know: Nigel Kelly, Zendamella, and what's the Arkansas guy's name? Andrew something or other, I think. I can't remember his name, but the portal never sleeps. And I think the next portal window is coming up in about a week or so, I think. So the team keeps on a-changing.
Absolutely, it sure does. And I think I want to answer Kirk David Tony. Why would he wait until now to enter the transfer portal? Well, generally, you like to see how you're doing, in your own camp in spring. And if maybe you feel like either it's possible that you're getting passed over on the depth chart, not saying that's what happened here, but who knows? Or maybe another team after their spring is wrapping up has a need and they've reached out through back channels and maybe have hinted that there's an NIL deal available to you that's more lucrative. So there's a bunch of reasons that it could happen, but it's pretty. Don't be surprised if in the next few weeks you hear a few names pop in the portal. It's just the way of the world now.
It's the way of the world, and you only have so many spots. So people want to play, and we don't blame them. So we're at 8:01, Ryan. I think we got to wrap this up.
Yeah, we gotta give time because guess what? Spear Addicts, I believe, is doing a live show tonight. I'm not 100% sure about that, but if not, come join us in the Discord. Now, one more time, guys. We have YouTube memberships. We have a Discord channel. Posting the link in the chat one more time, putting the QR code on the screen for those of you who are watching right now. That'll give you a link to our Discord and our memberships. The memberships are completely optional, but does give you extra shows, extra lives, extra interactivity with Vince and I as part of the Garnet and Old Show. However, this show, the Thursday 7 o'clock show, will be free for everyone forever. I don't think we'll ever change having a free show.
Definitely not. To wrap this up, send Chiefs all the damn time. We might be sending Chiefs tomorrow evening for the Miami game. So that went over very well against the Gators. And I assume it will go over very well against the Hurricanes as well. And Ryan, this is yours. Screw ESPN eternally. And we will see everybody in Discord. I'm going to go pop in the Discord while I'm watching the game. And then we'll see everybody next week as well.
Hey, Garnet Old, no inside info, no contacts, no problem. Send Chiefs all the damn time and go Noles.
Go Noles.